back on the Dream of the Present Sports program, and with the conclusion of the NBA season, sad face, we'll be turning to some remembering.
Reflective.
Yeah, a reflective state. Looking back on the top 5 point guards today of all time. So, who you guys think are in your top 5?
By the way, Corey in studio.
Oh, yeah, but Cory's
here,
back. He was
Hey,
sitting
Cory.
in with Andrew, so.
Good stuff.
Great segment, guys. That's one.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Hey, we're
Thank
on
you.
a roll.
Yep.
Tim comes back and we just right
I
back
mean, we were
at it.
getting sick
clicks.
of each other. I mean, really.
I'm
need
tired of
you.
looking at Corey.
Yes.
I'm tired of looking at you too. It's
Good.
fine.
Okay.
Let's get into it. Your fave 5.
The 5 greatest of all time. I got the list in front of me, obviously. So, here we go. 5 greatest point guards of all time in the NBA. We're going to go 5 to 1. So I'll just get it and we'll talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Number 5, greatest point guard of all time, Steve Nash.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Give me a little bit about Steve Nash.
Steve Nash, he started out his career, I believe, in Dallas, or it was for a majority of his career.
Yeah.
Had some good years at Dirk Nowitzki, one of the greatest passers that I've ever seen. He has a pretty decent shot once in a while. He's not a scoring point guard like your typical Derrick Rose or, maybe Rajon Rondo every once in a while, but great passer. Some stats are here. What is his stats? I can't see.
Career stat line, 14.6 points per game.
It's pretty
but
good.
obviously for your point guard, it's assists is what
Yep.
you look at for a point guard. 8.5 assists a game.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And rebounding. They don't even have.
I mean, they really don't need rebounding for a point guard.
Not really. 42% career from 3.
That's a really good. That's better than Dirk.
Yes. 90% career free throw shooter. His statistics are very, very good. And, he's been in this league a long time. Came in '96.
Yep.
He's been in the league for, that makes it 15 years, 16
Yes,
years? 15 seasons. He's been in the league 15 seasons. He's been spectacular. He's starting to slow down a little bit now.
He's a bit old. He had that exciting couple years with Amari Stoudemire off the pick and roll that I liked watching, but didn't
Actually,
really get him
his
anywhere.
last season was better than his career averages.
Really?
14 points a game, 11.4 assists a game.
Jeez. And Phoenix wasn't even that good this year.
No, they were horrible. So he was phenomenal this year. He's not slowing down. If anything, he's getting better. And he's gotten better. I mean, that was his second highest assist total of his career. His highest assist total was 06. So, I mean, he's been spectacular for a really
he was
long time.
runner-up a few years ago for the MVP against Kobe Bryant.
He's a phenomenal player. He's been a great talent. He's a great guy. But
Yeah.
everyone from Canada is a great guy. Everyone. I mean, Canada is a fantastic place to go. Tim would know about this. He's a hockey fan.
Yeah, definitely.
Can't beat Canada. And, can't beat Canada for good point guard play. So, Steve Nash is spectacular. And, he's been really good for a long time. And I think he's the 5th greatest point guard in NBA history. So, on to number 4. This guy hasn't had a ring. He does now. By the way, Steve Nash doesn't have an NBA championship.
Oh, yep.
But Jason Kidd does. The 4th greatest point guard of all time. A little bit about Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd started out his career in Dallas, is ending it right now. Just got the title, like we had said. Probably the better passer in my mind than Steve Nash. When he was younger, he'd be able to drive the lane at will. Right now, he has a pretty good jump shot because he can't drive the lane anymore because he's 38 years old and his legs are, hey, stop playing. My knee's hurt. And great player. He was actually the co-MVP in one of his first years with Grant Hill. And why do I know these things?
You've been watching basketball since you were 3.
Yeah. Anyway, what do you got here for stats?
13 points a game, 9 assists. He's been spectacular. More assists career than Steve Nash. Has never had an 11 assist year.
Nope.
An 11 assists per game year. Steve Nash has had like 5.
Yeah.
But Jason Kidd's done it longer. He has a ring. Nash does not. He's been spectacular. He's a great old pro. Another one of the good guys in NBA history, and we were happy he got his ring the other night.
Yep.
So he's spectacular.
He's really one of the smartest players we've seen too.
Now you look at it statistically. Why do we have him higher than Nash?
I don't know.
I mean, statistically, Nash has him beaten in points and assists by a pretty. Oh no, more assists.
It's
per
more
game.
of the title. I mean,
Nash has more assists.
I think Jason Kidd's more of the smarter player in my mind, because during this finals and the conference finals, he just outplayed my mind and Russell Westbrook. He didn't have a great series, but he has one of the greatest ball fakes. I know it's not that big of a deal, but he has a great ball fake. He can just, he's really slow and beat up, but he can just fake you out. It doesn't really matter. He can go like at medium speed and just go, and shoot it right over you or make you look stupid.
I'm sorry, Kidd actually does have the more assists, 9 to 8.5. So
It's fine.
Kids, it's like half an assist. A half an assist different. They're
Ooh.
essentially they're the same player.
Yeah.
Really, they're identical in how they play.
Just one of them has a ring, and to me, one of them is
So that's
just a little bit
he's
better.
higher because Kidd is higher because he has a ring. But he won a ring when he was completely out of his prime.
Yep.
Moving on now to the third greatest point guard of all time, a legend, played in the 90s, John Stockton.
Yep.
A little bit about John Stockton. This is a little bit further back than my NBA history goes. Well, not really in the 90s, but you know considerably more about him than I do, so I'll let you go ahead.
He had 2 chances to win the NBA title, with him and Carmelo being one of the great duos we've ever seen in the NBA.
Absolutely.
They couldn't get it done in the 2 years against Chicago, but Michael Jordan is going to be hard to beat at any moment in his career. Really, he had so many great assists. He's had a lot of heart. Jerry Sloan, his coach, said he's one of the best players he's ever coached, and he's really he's not much of a shooter. I mean, he had a good 3-point shot. He could hit any pass at any time, and he was a good player. One of the nice people in the NBA that we've seen.
38% from 3, so
pretty good.
Comparable to
That's
Nowitzki.
the same as Nowitzki.
Same as Nowitzki. However, Nash can outshoot him from 3.
Yeah.
13 a game, 10 and a half assists for his career. He's had 2 14 assists per game seasons. He's spectacular.
Yeah.
He really, that's only an 82% free throw shooter, so not quite as high as Nash or Kidd. But obviously the superior player to both those guys. He was a phenomenal player for a really long time. Third greatest point guard of all time. All right.
Who we got at number 2?
Number 2, a name some of us forget because we're still mad at him for ruining the Knicks. Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas, a completely different kind of point guard.
More of a scorer.
Considerably more scorer.
On the Bad Boy Pistons.
Yes.
What of 2 titles? Or 1?
NBA champion. Yes, 2 rings in 89 and 90, back-to-back years. Played in a few other finals, if I'm not mistaken, or one other final.
Maybe 1 lost to Lakers, I believe.
But he was spectacular and a good scorer. Looking at his numbers, not a great scorer, but the numbers were a lot different in the 80s than they are now.
Yeah.
For his career, 19 points, 9 assists. Had 4 straight double-digit assist years in his career, including the one where he averaged 21 points.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
21 points and 13 almost 14 assists.
That's a lot.
That was the 84-85 season. So that would be
his
not
4th year?
That is definite. That's his best season as a pro. When you consider both scoring and passing, so he was a really good all-around player.
Really young in his career, yeah.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. He got the rings. He's not considered the best human being. People really don't like him, and
it's kind of hard not to see why.
Yeah, well, he's an ass.
Yeah, he is.
But he's great. He was great to watch play. So athletic. A lot of people compare Derrick Rose to him. The games are extremely comparable. Yeah. Derrick Rose is 23 and 8.
That
was his MVP season this year as well.
Yeah.
So very comparable. And Isaiah Thomas, a great athlete, great scorer, but he was a very good passer. That's why he's the second. But number 1, was there really any doubting who the greatest point guard of all time is? Irvin Magic Johnson, the greatest point guard of all time.
The biggest
NBA
point guard of all time. Also,
the biggest. 6'8".
That's what made him so dynamic. Usually point guards around your 6'2", 6'3" area. He was a tall-ass point guard, and he could dribble, amazing. He perfected the no-look pass. He had great teammates around him, hence your Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Worthy, a bunch of great players. And how many titles did he win? 5?
Yep. He 5 rings, played in 9 NBA finals, played with the greatest, arguably the greatest player of all time, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the greatest scorer, the all-time scoring leader. For his career, 19 points. And they just have – this is a lot different than the other ones I'm used to seeing. 19 points, 11 assists, had 5 seasons of 12 assists or more.
Oh, my goodness.
He was absolutely spectacular, a really good scorer, famously won Game 7 of the NBA
The hook
Finals.
shot, yeah.
As a rookie,
Yeah.
he started at center. He is extremely versatile, should be remembered much more than just a point guard.
Remembered as a great player, one of the greatest players of all time.
Not quite as good defensively as
No.
some of the other great players. Didn't have that killer instinct that an MJ would.
No.
But he was just so good for so long. A spectacular player. And the greatest point guard of all time. Definitely one of the 5 greatest overall players
Yeah.
of all time in the NBA. A list that we're going to have to do
Eventually over
as
the
well.
summer.
We'll get there. We'll get there. So that's how we see, Tim, the greatest point guards of all time. How's the hockey research going there?
Oh, it's going very good. Got some interesting stuff, but that'll be coming up after you guys finish the current point guards.
Who are the point guards playing right now? The 5 best point guards playing right now in the NBA as the focus turns to current players. That's next.
The Gym of the President Sports Program.
It's BWC Internet Radio.